kind of what some of your takeaways were. Then I'll go through my notes and review, and then we will wrap it up. So I want to have each of you, we're going to do our release work. I'm going to do it a little differently, actually. I'm going to use number 10, visualizing yourself succeeding. I thought this was really cool. For some of you who I've done future goal setting with, I've had you visualize yourself being, doing and having, and then taking your internal representation, putting it in your future timeline, and then breathing energy into that representation, that visualization you have of yourself. So this is very similar. I'm going to just have you do a little release work, and then we're going to create that future self of you succeeding. Okay. So closing your eyes, and I want you to start breathing in through your nose and exhale. Good. Again, breathing in. And again. Let's do 3 more times, breathing in. Two more times. Good. Now I want you to just identify any negative emotion, limiting belief that is coming up for you, whether it was from what you've read, whether it was something that, an event that has happened that has triggered an old, unwarranted, inappropriate, negative emotion or limiting belief. Excellent. And I want you to just say to your unconscious mind, I'm ready to release this today and be consciously aware of this limiting belief, this negative emotion.
I'm ready to release this unrealistic negative connotation about myself. I am good at what I do.
Good. And now I want you to have your unconscious mind take you in getting in touch with all of those negative emotions, limiting belief, whatever it is, getting in touch with it now and taking you back to the root cause, whether it was before, during, or after birth, taking you back there now to the first time that you felt this. Just trust your unconscious mind. I feel one of you is really kind of struggling. Just let it go. Let it go. Stop being in your conscious part of your mind and get into that unconscious part of your mind and just let it go. Good. Excellent. Going back there now to the root cause, the first event. Now I want you to have your unconscious mind just energetically activate all of the event, everything that was involved, the emotions, the root cause, just activating it now and just pay attention, right, to when it starts to disappear. Good. And just learning all the lessons. Have your unconscious mind take all the lessons that you need, positive learnings. Good. And feeling the forgiveness, the release. Now ask yourself, your unconscious mind, to go to your higher self and get new strategies for new ways of being who you need to be, doing all that you need to do and having everything you want to have so that it'll be there for you in the future when you need it. Good. And just bringing in the light now and filling up any tender spots made available by the removal of this negativity that was held in the emotion. So just imagining you're bringing in the light from above and just cleansing any tender spots. Good. And I want you now to taking the lessons that you've learned. I want you to picture yourself acting the way you'd like to. So let's say that whatever that was in the event that you just released, the negative emotion that was tied to that, I want you to picture the next time an event like that, or maybe it's a person, the root cause, whatever it is, how are you reacting now? Who are you being? I want you to imagine yourself doing and saying the right things and allow yourself to feel the satisfaction and all the positive emotions that are coming from this. The positive focus, the positive control that you have now. Experience how different it is for you and just picture yourself in that event and how it's different. Good. Now I want you to imagine in the future, if an event like that were to take place again, or when you were triggered, could be a word that was said, a situation, anything that had triggered you in the past. I want you to picture yourself in the future. And what are you doing that's differently? Who are you being is the main question. Who are you being to have that positive focus, positive control, positive response from the lessons that you've learned? What are you taking with you to be who you need to be, do all you want, and have the things you want? Imagining that now. And experiencing how it's different when you're being positive and being in control of your emotions. Because we can only control who we are, who we're being, how we react. We cannot control others. We can control ourselves. Excellent. Now I want you to take 2 deep breaths. More. And come back into the room when you're ready. And open your eyes. That was fantastic, ladies. Boy, one of you were really being stubborn. I'm not going to name names. Stubborn in the sense that you just weren't quite ready, but then you did. So way to go. Okay, So I'm going to ask for some shares on the social or self-management strategies, your self-management strategies, which I really enjoyed this section as well. So I'm going to go with how everyone is in the order on my screen. And Antonia, share with us, please. You're muted, hon.
I had an interesting insight when I was working on this. And what I realized is that really, for me, basically, it's paying attention to how other people feel and what other people are thinking and being more tuned into that. And I realized that when I was young, I shut that all off because I'm such an empathic person. I didn't know how to protect myself from all of the data that I was getting. And so I just shut myself off. And I continued to be shut off. And I realized I don't need to do that anymore because I've got strategies now and I'm a big girl. And so that was really a huge eye-opening realization for me.
Awesome.
Going through stuff.
Very cool. Thank you. Diane?
Morning. For me, self-management, I feel like I have grown quite a bit in that area because I certainly try to listen more to the client and get their wants and needs up front and just listen to where they're at and not just want to do an agenda that I need to get checked off. So personally, I feel like I'm much better in that.
Well, thank you for sharing. Crystal?
I'm working on growth in this area, and trying to really stay focused on like regulating, I guess, and like not allowing things to kind of spiral worse than they are.
Good. Thank you for sharing. Lori?
Well, I got here a little late, so I don't know what I missed, but my three the three strategies that the book gave me were visit my values, know who and what pushes my buttons, and observe the ripple effect from my emotions. So I think it's hard listening to the book as opposed to reading it because I don't think I have like everything in front of me to kind of go back and revisit. But definitely I've been trying to visualize and keep in mind how the ripple effect, I guess, would be the biggest thing. But so I had something interesting happen. I don't know how right before we started this book, I was in a meeting, a committee meeting in the office, and the chairperson didn't show to the meeting for 45 minutes. So she had told us she was going to be late. So she said basically I was to run the meeting, right? And then she got in the meeting and she started questioning every decision that we had made and kind of fighting with it, like really aggressive, passive aggressive kind of, we'll put it that way. And I got pretty annoyed. I'm going to tell you, I don't have a lot of tolerance for that. And so I just basically said, that's fine. We're not going to do that then. Okay, done. And I got really snippy, and our MCA also signed in late, 45 minutes late. And then she started making questions about things. And I kind of got snippy with her too. And then afterwards, well, I didn't really apologize to them, but I apologized to the one other person that would have there were about 5 of us on the call at that point, or 6. And I said, sorry, I kind of lost my patience there. And, But so that was right before we started this book, right? So then I'm looking here and I'm reading and I said, I definitely am super, like paying attention to other people's, where they are and stuff. I'm really good at. I'm a little over and I really have more empathy than like I should at times. I really can see like I have high intuition, but about myself, I'm not good at regulating. And so I keep going over in my head, how could I have handled that differently, and looking for, like what I would do in the future differently. Still working on how I would get different, what responses, but trying to visualize and all of that kind of coming out of the book about how if we could visualize how we would do something differently, then the next time we can do something differently. But I always struggle for words, and maybe I should have just said, you know what? Let's take this offline, and I know you've had a really rushed day today, and why don't you and I connect later tonight about these things or something like that, so that she had some time to take a breath, because she definitely came in from a meeting and she was pressured and stressed. But so those are the things that I am working on.
Very cool. Yeah, there's a couple of really good, I like the one where he writes about counting to 10 and even like before you talk.
That and breathing. If you breathe, that you might have a different response.
Yeah, but I like the response though. Totally hear what you're saying and would love. Because coming in 45 minutes late, she probably missed the majority of what you guys talked about.
There were only 3 of us, so we just went down the agenda and just made decisions and recapped and so yes.
Okay. Vicky. Thank you, Lori. We're just gonna go on to Vicky now.
Yeah, that's fine. Great.
But yeah.
I'm gonna mute.
Okay. Vicky. Oh wait, that's right, your throat. Catherine, share some takeaways or something that you've learned.
So interesting, because my chart told me that I needed to focus on self-awareness and those strategies, but as I was reading the book, I felt more like I needed to be focusing on self-management strategies than self-awareness. So maybe it's a little bit of both, maybe it's equally both. I resonated a lot with the different self-management strategies that were listed, and I basically need to implement them all. So yeah, it was very good. I like the breathing. I laughed at the take a bottle of water with you so that you don't have to answer right away. I laughed at that. I was like, oh yeah, let me take a sip of my coffee before I answer. Gives you a minute to think. And how Seller always asks if you want water or something to drink, take it. And that way you always have it. And if you need to take a second before you answer, don't feel like you have to answer every question immediately. So that was good for me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Miss Debbie.
Well, this is my first appearance here. And so I don't even know what the book is, but just based off of what you said, self-management section, I know that scheduling is huge for me, and that's what I have been working on to improve production. Catherine, I really like the having a water bottle with you. That's a good idea. I would enjoy that. So I will have to pick up the book and follow along.
Very cool. Yes. Arian will share the Amazon. You can order them on Amazon. Emotional Intelligence 2.0. It's this one.
Okay.
So
Tell her about the assessment.
Huh?
Tell her about the assessment.
Oh, yes, and in the back, there is an assessment. So everyone took their assessment before we began. And in the back, it's like
Oh,
a
okay.
card, and you open it up and it gives you a code that you use, and you take your assessment. It grades you, and you can pick which area you really want to focus on. Yes, Catherine.
I just want to welcome Deb. I'm from Olathe, Kansas, but I now live in New Jersey.
Oh.
So Kansas buddies,
That's right.
Welcome. Good to
Partners.
have you.
Okay, fun
Thank you.
fact, my family's from Yates Center, Kansas.
Oh my goodness. Look at you guys on my screen are diagonally. Anyway. Okay, so I would like to share some highlights with you ladies, and then we'll just wrap up with any other, shares. And, it just talks about the self-management strategies. It's a foundational skill that builds upon self-awareness. So, when you develop the ability to size yourself up quickly and grab the reins before you head in the wrong direction, it keeps you flexible and allows you to choose positively and productively how to react to different situations. So that exercise that we just did, I'm going to trust that it was really powerful and empowering to each of you gals, that you were able to see yourselves making the empowered choice in that event that had triggered you before. And what, were you able, when you go back and you think about what you were seeing, going down this list and saying, oh yeah, I was, controlling my self-talk, I was breathing, I was, whatever it was that the choices you were making. I want to encourage you all to really practice on your breathing. And this is something that, whenever we do our ha breathing, and it is a technique and is very uncomfortable at first when you start learning how to breathe properly, because it's really from your diaphragm, which is like your belly. It's not from your chest, it's from lower. So for those of you who have ever had voice lessons, you learn to sing from your diaphragm, and it helps you to hold the note longer. So just really, I would practice when you're meditating just on your breathing, making sure you're breathing correctly, filling up your stomach, that diaphragm first, and then it expands your lungs so that you can feel air in your lungs. Then creating an emotion versus reason list. Whenever you find your mind having a battle of the brains, emotional versus rational, it's time to make a list that distinguishes the emotional side of the argument from the rational one. This really, when I read this, I was like, reasons and results. Reasons and results. So why aren't we making these are my reasons and these are the results I would have if I didn't have my reasons, right? List. I think that is such a great, exercise also. It's one other way of looking at it. Drawing a line down the middle on 2 columns, one side, your emotions, what are they telling you to do? The right side, what are your reasons telling you to do? So you could also do, results and reasons. Then making your goals public. Much of self-management comes down to motivation, and you can use the expectations that other people have of you as a powerful force to get you off your proverbial couch. So some of y'all know I'm doing 75 hard. And it was my nutritionist who created the group. There's like 29 women, and we have a Marco Polo challenge, and we check in every day. And that is, what we're making our goal public with each other and also on my Facebook, and it encourages us, right? So when you set a goal for yourself, and I've even encouraged you on Facebook, say, my goal is to, receive X amount of referrals, or when you're calling your database, getting that last leg in. Hey, I need 5 more goals. or 5 more clients, leads or referrals to hit my goal. Make it public. Let people know what your goal is. We just talked about counting to 10. Even if you don't make it to double digits, you'll stop the flow of frustration and anger long enough to cool down your overheated limbic system and give your rational brain some valuable time to catch up. It's really funny because so Diane is, we've been working together for 7-8 years now, and she's like my big sister, right? So sometimes I'll call her whenever I need to calm down about something. And she's like, and I'm like out doing my 3-mile run walk when I call her. And she'll say, close your eyes. Well, wait a minute. No, stop running first or stop walking, because she knows me. I'll close my eyes and keep going. And which I have before. And then I'll stop. And she's like, I just want you to count to 10. And it works. It does, right? Or the drinking, the bottle of water. I think that is such a cool thing to do. Taking it, yeah, Mr. Seller, I'll have, or Mrs. Seller, I'll have I love a glass of water. So when they ask you a question, how powerful is it if they ask you a question, you immediately go, oh yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because da, 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 da. Versus they ask you a question, you go, yeah, that was a great question. Taking that moment to pause and let them, see you reflect on it. They always say the first to speak loses, right? Sleeping on it. For those of you who know me really well, I have to process. I am a processor. If I'm going, she's shaking her head, yes, because I'll say, Diane, I can't right now, dude, my back is going out. The stress level has just gone through the roof for me right now. My back is going to give out. I'm going to collapse on the floor. I got to unplug and process. So I process. It's such a powerful, I think all of us should process. Because even though we say, oh, I don't speak in anger, I don't speak emotionally, when you're being hit with something hard and emotional, I mean, you'd have to be Superman or Superwoman or, I don't know who to not have some emotion if you're going to react. Love a skilled self-manager. That's like a coach in your business, or it could be someone like a mentor, right? This is more emotionally, they're on the emotional side. Who do you know that you look at and you go, wow, I really like the way they handle these stressful situations? Ask them, what do you do? Like, how do you handle the stress? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, I have a routine. I meditate first thing in the morning. I read positive. Because this is a study I've been doing, and I've been asking people that I look up to that are, great at managing their emotions. And 9 times out of 10, they've got that routine where they are meditating, they are reading, they are journaling and, and writing. And how they react, Smile more often. And we've all, for those of us who have done Bold or done some sort of like motivational seminar, they've had you like smile or look up and smile and then look down and try to smile, right? So we all know this one. It's nice to know you have an out when you need to put on a happy face. This one I love. It goes back to processing, sleeping on it. Set aside some time in the day for problem solving. Mine is when I go on my 3 miles. When I'm out there in nature, one with God, I mean, I am out there like really just thinking, talking to him, calling, like Diane or someone else that I just need them to listen to me. Taking 15-minute periods each day when you just turn your phone off. Well, I'm on my phone talking, but when I'm not, I'm literally away from my computer and just thinking and really processing. Take control of your self-talk. Some of you gals, I've stopped you and I'm like, nah, don't say that word. Don't call yourself this. Don't say you can't because, or you don't want. And then they've got 3, turn I always or I never into just this time or sometimes. Replace judgmental statements like I'm an idiot with factual ones like I made a mistake. I always like to say it's, I love a challenge. Or, I'm growing I'm growing into. I'm growing as a master lead generator. Accept responsibility for your actions and no one else's. And this was a call that one of my clients, actually 2 clients, but one's on this call. We just had a call, a coaching call, and we were discussing taking responsibility. Even though, let's say, for example, the majority of it was the other person, we still have our own part in that. And it's saying, okay, I understand and hear how you're feeling. I take my part in this. We just did the visualizing yourself to succeed, which for those of you who were in the prior book club, there's some great principles that kind of correspond with that in doing the exercises. This I love. Clean up your sleep hygiene. I love getting 20 minutes of morning sunlight. This is pretty cool. Your eyes need at least 20 minutes of pre-noon sunlight to reset your inner clock. I did not know that. Who knew that? When I read that, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so freaking cool. I had no idea.
You know what I thought of when they said it doesn't work through windows? Is when you see those crazy people driving down the street with their windows down in the middle of the winter. I'm like, that's why they do that.
Yeah, right. Feeling the sun on your face. I do that sometimes too. This morning when I took Max to school, I was like, it is a really nice morning. And I rolled both windows down. Turn off the computer at least 2 hours before bedtime. The light of a computer screen right in front of your face late at night is similar enough to sunlight that it tricks your brain, making it difficult to fall asleep. Keep your bed for sleeping. Save your bed for sleep and your body will respond. Don't work in your bed. Don't watch TV in your bed. Wow, and avoid caffeine, especially in the PM. It's so funny because I have ADHD. You would never guess. I have ADHD and I'm always like, yeah, coffee doesn't bother me. Caffeine doesn't bother me. It, because I'm already so hyper, it just calms me, I think. Well, the other night I decided to have a cup of coffee because don't ask me why. Oh my goodness. Was I ever putting my foot in my mouth? I had a horrible night's sleep trying to get to bed, tossed and turned. It was 3 a.m. I'm like, you're kidding me right now. So never again. And it was so powerful because listen to this. You can have 1 cup of coffee at 8 a.m. and you still have 25% of the caffeine in your body at 8 p.m. That's crazy. Focus your attention on your freedoms rather than your limitations. How many times have I asked you, what can you control? What can you not control? So take accountability for what you have control over and focus your energy on remaining flexible and open-minded. Stay synchronized. So it's the same thing as looking up and smiling versus looking down and smiling. Sometimes when you guys come to a call, I can look at your body language and hear you talking. And I'm like, what's going on? Because it is not matching at all. So the more that if you find yourself like slouching a lot or in a negative, so Lori goes, I wasn't talking about you, Lori, but you know what I'm saying. If you're trying to get motivated to get to work and you're like this, it's gonna be really hard to get motivated versus like, okay, let me put some flowers here. Let me like get my morning jam playing for me and get some positivity going so that I'm ready to go. Okay. Speak to someone who is not emotionally invested in your problem. Such a great, again, finding that mentor, finding someone, that you can go to that's not, doesn't have a vested interest in it. Like, for example, asking your partner, your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever it is, about what color your bedroom should be, or that, and you want the opposite of what they want, like going to, that's not, maybe not be a good example, but you know what I'm saying, like someone that's not, or even someone that is going to be your yes person, because as some of the work I do, that's your shadow work. Like sometimes our shadow takes over and we want to find that person that will agree with us. Like, oh my gosh, can you believe that, so-and-so did this? Like, how could they do that to me? Like, I cannot look, can you believe they did that to me? And then you want that person to agree with you, right? That's your shadow right there. And when you find yourself doing that, that's when you got to go, whoa, wait a minute, there's some work to do. Yes, Lori.
So I think that I've learned over the years, and since I'm getting up there now in age, I think I can use this to my advantage. I think that staying quiet sometimes when we have something on our mind or a problem or something bothering us and not talking about it is actually, and it, of course, it depends on what your personality is. If you're the person who talks all the time, maybe this is for you. And maybe if you're someone who holds it in, then no, maybe you want to try the different approach. But like not talking about it, staying quiet and not ruminating on it, and listening to your gut or your insides tell you how you should solve this problem, or being like saying, I'm going to take my part in this and what can I do to change it? Not self-blame, but looking, like listening to yourself and your intuition. I think that when we talk about it, that we just relive it over and over, and
Yeah.
an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. And that's the whole sleeping on it, right? Processing it, going through it, yeah, absolutely. If you find yourself talking about it over and over and over again, that's what this part is about. Like, it's like, you need to stop, like you need to find that person that's just going to help you solve that one or give you advice, and that's it. And if you find yourself, then that has to do with a deep rooted issue that you need to take care of. It's a pattern. 16, put a mental recharge, and I see we got 4 minutes left, so I'm going to hurry, try to blow through these. Physical exercise, great, huge, really good for you. Those of you who read about it, getting your blood flowing. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you're running 20 miles a day. It could be just yoga or even a nice calm walk. Accepting that change is around the corner. This is what's so cool about that one, is sometimes we expect certain things from people and they don't give us what we were expecting. And what's that really about? Is that about them or about us, right? So I think if we just keep an open mind and we go, okay, cool, whatever could happen is going to happen, yet I want to make sure it doesn't affect me negatively. So how can you create the boundaries? And they had a little exercise in there on what you can do and for, expecting, like if something were to happen and change were to happen, how would you react to it? And I think that exercise is just helping you grow in your emotional intelligence, because when you don't have the tools yet, you're like, and you have a change that happens, you're like, oh, what do I do? Right. Yet if you write how you would react or how you choose to be, then you're prepared. And that's what that 17 is about. 3 minutes. Any ahas you want to share? Actually, now 2 minutes. Any ahas you want to share before we wrap this up? Awesome. Nothing.
Well, it seems like the waiting period, the breathing or the counting, it seems like that takes, it gives time for it to go from the limbic brain to the more advanced brain. It gives it time to, or if it's stuck there, it gives us a chance to get out. That's how I was visualizing it.
Yeah. We really want to encourage you ladies to again, look at the, because there's 17 and look at which ones you're going to master. Okay. Just pick, okay, this one and that one and this one, I'm going to work on mastering, right? I'm really going to start implementing. And if it is that you have to write those sticky notes again and put it on your bathroom mirror, put it on your computer, put it whatever and wherever it is that you need to remind yourself of how you're choosing to be, do it. Our next book club is going to be on social awareness. And you know, we've got Thanksgiving coming up. I'd really actually, do you ladies want to just do the social awareness, or would you like to get, let's see. Okay, let's do social awareness. And then on that Tuesday, the 15th, we can have our, no, everybody's going no. Okay, so then do we just want to do our next, because the 17th. Oh no, we can do the, the 17th is next Thursday. Okay, the 22nd. That's what I was trying to say. Are you good, gals? Because I have no calls that day, but I'm okay. No, crap, I'm not. I'm leaving out of town on that Tuesday. Shoot. Okay. Well, then we're just gonna, what do you girls want to do? Do you want to knock the last two strategies out for next Thursday, or, okay, so then let's just do that. Let's knock out social awareness and relationship management, and we'll go an hour instead of 45 minutes. Okay. Is that good?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll make it because I'll be out of state.
Okay. Well, we'll record, just be sure to read it. And even if you can call in and give your shares. Okay. And then be sure to send in your, any books that you guys would like to have on our next book club. Okay. Awesome. Love you, ladies. Proud of you for showing up. Be well, rock it, and see you soon.